Breathe in, breathe out.
Welcome back to the Hollow Games Network. I'm Ginger Joey.
And I'm Joker's henchman number three, Corey.
Okay, that one I like.
I
Very
mean,
good.
I've got Batman on the brain.
Why?
And just recently, brand new Batman number one came out with our local comic book writer Matt Fraction, and he did a
Oh,
signing and a special screening of The Dark Knight in 35 at the Hollywood this last week that
I
I
wonder
joined.
if he was at Rose City Comic Con then,
He is at
because
Rose City this whole weekend. Yeah, yeah.
okay, because I saw like the whole Dark Horse booth. So I wonder if he no, is it Dark Horse?
No, it's DC.
DC.
Batman's
Okay.
DC, but yeah, he's there. He's not in a booth. He's there just doing signings and set times.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he's got a special exclusive variant cover they made for the Hollywood itself, which
Nice.
awesome. He did that basically to support the Hollywood. All proceeds are going to the Hollywood.
Oh, that's
Which,
cool.
for those that don't know, it's a local nonprofit theater from what the early 20th century, like
Yeah,
1910, I think was when it was built.
it's one of the originals, but I didn't
Yeah.
even know they were a nonprofit. That's
Yep.
cool.
They're a
I
nonprofit.
did not know that. So
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, support local film, always, but
support local businesses in general.
this is also, yes, always, yeah, just support local, please. But yeah, so yeah, a little Batman on the brain, yeah, pretty excited. Looking forward to reading more of his run.
So we didn't do something last week, mainly because of me. That was my fault. And that was because I was up at PAX West, and we were gonna slate to do like a little remote broadcast, but I got wrapped up in a couple of events, and I forgot.
To go.
So,
Yeah.
c'est la vie, that is life, but that is why we didn't do something last week. So, up at PAX West, I did do a couple events of Star Wars stuff. The one that was interesting to me that I wanted to partake in, that a couple of our local guys that went up and did, was we had a 3v3 team event, which intrigued me.
Yeah.
And what we ended up doing was each team was given a box of cards, and you had to create three decks with that box of cards, and then you played against the other teams, and then just typical hierarchy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could communicate with your teammates, like, hey, what should I do here? Kind of stuff. Which we did that a little bit, it,
Mhm.
not that much, but first was the collaborative experience of building the decks and figuring out what you were going to do. We ended up building a Snoke Blue,
Mhm.
a Obi-Wan green yellow,
Okay.
and then I played a Kit Fisto blue, which actually was a lot more
Interesting.
efficient than I thought it was going to be. And it made me almost go, well, this could work in Premiere with how efficient it was.
Maybe.
So, because there was some good synergies to it. But
Yeah.
the cool thing about it was we ended up doing we rolled a dice against the other team,
Yeah.
and whoever won the roll got to pick the first matchup.
Okay.
And then the other team got to pick the second matchup, and then the other two just had to play each other. So, for instance, against the one team, they were playing a Kanan deck.
Okay.
Well, I matched against them because you want to put a bunch of shields on? Great. I ignore your shields with my
Yeah.
saboteur kind of
Who
thing.
cares?
So
Yeah.
it's that kind of strategy that you can make. Oh, you're going to be playing this deck, but you're going to be all in space? Oh, that's going to be bad against this deck and this deck. So let's have you go against them instead, and maybe you can race on the ground or something else like that. You can use
Interesting.
strategy of what you comprise
Yeah.
versus what they comprise to try to get that leverage. So you normally like a deck when you're playing a match against somebody, it's like, oh, it's a 55-65 or something else like that. Or you just have
Yeah.
a bad matchup into something. You're trying to leverage those situations to your advantage, and you can do that when you get choice on where
Mhm.
you're going to go. So, like I said, it was a very interesting format. I would definitely do it again. The turnout wasn't as good as I was hoping for the tournament,
Okay.
but I think that's just because it was hidden behind um, a convention you had to go to,
Yeah.
right? So you had to pay to get into the convention, and then you had to pay this extra money for the event and stuff like that. But if a local game store had enough interest, I thought it was an interesting format that could see some future
No, that's.
gameplay.
I would be intrigued to play that. Like that sounds like a fun way to play, fun build. Yeah, definitely challenging to. Obviously, you got to get teams of three, so you're all in threes. So you're gonna have to have some way to potentially pair some people that don't have a full team or something like that. But no, I think it's a good idea, and then I'd be intrigued if a local store decides to try to give it a go. Maybe start bringing it up to them to go, hey,
It's also
this
a
is
way
fun.
to help clear some product off of your shelves because you're
There's
getting
that
rid
as
of
well.
boxes at the same
Yeah,
time, kind of thing.
you get to
So
get boxes out.
And it's also good, little good practice for sealed. It's a different type of sealed,
Yeah,
but it is a form of sealed in the regard that you're still having to create those decks from that limited pool of the set that exists.
yeah,
It was also interesting because then you're building three decks. So if you and I share a color, like blue,
yeah,
who gets the shatter points?
yeah. That's true.
It's that you really have to like analyze. Okay, well, you can have this removal, so I need this removal to actually give me an edge or something else like that.
Yeah,
Or you're not running the force, therefore you don't need them because you're going to do this aspect of the blue instead of this aspect. So
yeah,
those decisions come into play because there's only four colors, and with three decks being built, someone's sharing something.
yeah. Someone's getting split. No, I think that sounds really fun. Like I would like to give that a go sometime. That, yeah. Hopefully somebody does decides to put it on locally because I would like to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
But overall though, so the swoop presence was kind of minimal. I mean, PAX is it's a video game convention. It's
yeah.
not as big on board games and card games. There's some presence, but I've gone in past years too. It's not a huge piece of it.
No.
So yeah, what did you see? Did it seem like there was a decent amount of turnout on the Star Wars side, or was there not?
So I went personally to focus on board game stuff.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't in the TCG area very much
Hmm.
because I was there to because I designed board games on the side and I was there to like try to network a little bit as well. And then
Yeah.
help see a buddy of mine who's also a designer, and then he was running a playtesting booth. So I was up playtesting prototypes of board games more
Yeah.
so than I was actually doing the Star Wars stuff. I mainly only participated in that one event
Yeah.
for the Star Wars stuff. I did go down into the TCG area a little ahead of time
Hmm.
and saw the Rune was it the League of Legends game that's coming out.
Oh, the new card game. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
Uh,
I
uh
cannot remember the name, but I know.
Riftbound.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
So that was a huge turnout. Everybody was
Sure.
trying to play that as much as possible to get like that preview and demo and see how that game is going to come out. So
Yeah.
that game releases October 11th, I want to say, something like
I
that.
think so, yeah.
Oh, that is going to be probably the next big TCG that's going to be hitting the market. That's going to be like everybody's going to be gobbling up whatever they possibly can on that.
Yeah.
So it looked interesting. It looked kind of simple as far as
Okay.
like the mechanics go. I
Hmm.
think the complexity definitely will come into the cards,
Yeah.
and how they're going to interact with one another. But again, this is all just preview demo stuff, so
Yeah.
I didn't really get deep into it to know. But I hope to get my hands on a couple, and then you and I can sit here and we can go over
I
it.
give it
So
a go. I haven't looked into it too much myself, but I am kind of curious, and I'm always up to giving something new a go.
yeah, Holotable Games Network is not just for Star Wars,
No,
despite what you
it's
might
not.
think. So we will be bringing other stuff to the table. So
Yes, look forward to, yeah, as new things come out that we're interested, we'll bring it to you to check out.
yeah, so that was the PAX West experience, but that's why we missed last week. So my
Yeah,
fault. Rose City Comic Con was this week as well
it was. Yep.
for us here in Portland, and I went to that yesterday
Yeah.
and participated in a Dice Thrones tournament there. So also a
Very nice.
fun game
Very
if you've
nice.
never played that as well. So
That'd be a good one to do on the show one of these times.
yeah, I have them right behind
We
us. So
should
yeah,
probably do that
we can
eventually.
do that. We can do
Maybe a
that for
future
sure.
episode.
That's a fun one. So anyway, so now going on to Star Wars stuff.
Yes.
We
Let's talk
are
Star
looking
Wars.
at what the PQ results for the last couple weekends are at this point in time. And they're quite diverse. So that is a good thing and a little interesting at the same time.
Diverse and not diverse.
Sure. Diverse as far as who's winning them,
Yeah.
not as diverse necessarily as the things that you're seeing consistently at the PQs.
Yeah. Well, especially I think the top eights, I would say, are pretty a lot of the same in the top eights,
Sure.
although the winners are definitely some surprises there. But yeah, what we're seeing at the moment is I would really say we're seeing this meta kind of solidify, and it's a lot of what most of us expected. Pretty heavy on, as I mentioned before, we're seeing a lot of force throw decks.
Mhm.
It's a lot of Hantu Blues really dominating, Quinlan back dominating a lot as well, along with Talzin. Talzin's getting a lot of top eights. Talzin's not winning very often.
It feels like
I think that's interesting.
Talzin feels like the new Cad Bane. Cad
Yeah,
Bane was always like consistent, solid, just couldn't
yeah,
finish.
just
And
can't get there
yeah,
in the top eight situation. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot out of Talzin. Is it just she can get there, she just can't handle what she's facing in the top eight, which again is your Hantu Blues in multitudes of Hantu Blues, multitudes of Quinlans. Like we're seeing a ton of those coming back. We are seeing some outliers though, which I do want to kind of highlight. Like looking through the last couple weeks, we had 16 PQs last week. We have 14 this week, although not all of them have reported back yet, so we don't know. There's a lot of today actually.
Yeah, and
So
we're recording this in the morning on Sunday,
yeah, like
so
we don't know a lot, and two of those are limited, so they aren't really telling us much about the meta. We actually don't have reports back for even what the decks were just yet.
in
So
limited, I don't think we're gonna get that because they're
yeah,
so varietal change and they don't really transition from one event to the next
yeah,
because of the fact that they're sealed in limited draft. It's kind of what you get is what you
yeah.
get. So
What you
you
get is
can't
what you
really
get.
like try to achieve that from one thing to the next.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but that is really what we're looking at. I did want to highlight like a couple of things that I did see that popped out to me in some weird top eight decks. I love seeing this. Snow Lake Country popped up in Jena, Germany.
Yep.
It was a small PQ with a 52 player, but it made the top eight. I think this is a fun little deck. I think Joey, you said you've been messing with it a little bit.
I've seen it a bunch, and then I dabble with it. But basically, the Snoke Lake Country is akin to the Vader Pilot deck
Yeah,
in that it's a very, for the most part, cheap deck to get off the ground that has legs and is efficient going forward, kind of thing. You're using Lake Country just to give you that extra health buffer to get there, kind of thing. But you don't need a lot of expensive cards to actually make it efficient.
yeah,
Obviously, if you can get some of the stuff like Vader's and stuff like that, then it helps improve its
sure,
efficiency.
yeah.
But it's definitely a great intro deck to get people playing the game and looking at the mechanics that are involved.
Yeah, I think that's a fun one. I was looking at the tech deck list myself, and yeah, I was like, I wouldn't mind messing around with this a little bit. Doesn't seem like a me deck, but it does seem like a fun one to mess around with a little bit. Another one that more dear to my heart. We did have Kaz Tarkentown end up in a top eight. I think second place if I remember correctly. Another smaller one. It was a 60 some, a 62 I believe player in tournament, but to see it. I love seeing Kaz pop up. We are still seeing that smattering of pilots. Kaz has been doing well. Obviously, Boba Data Vault has been the dominant one, but we're also seeing another one that's popping up a lot is Han Solo Jump to Lightspeed Tarkentown.
Yeah.
That's a good deck. It's a very good deck. It's a fast pilot deck, and it's taking advantage of one of the things that's always strong in this game, and that's resource cheating. It has that huge flip turn if it can set it up well that can really just basically come close to, if not just flat out win at the game. So it's a very interesting deck. It's a lot of fun. I That was my one loss in a local store showdown that I ran. That I got second place, losing to a buddy of mine running a Han to Tarkin Town. So yeah, it's or not Han to Han for Tarkin Town.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of interesting decks that are popping up, but again, in general, the meta really has kind of stabilized, and we're seeing that a lot. I don't know if you want to pull up the little chart here. This is interesting that we wanted to highlight for you all. There's a site, if you're not familiar with it, that is swoobase.com. These guys put together this website coded to pull in all the tournament results every weekend and then give us lots of very pretty charts to look at. So, big fan of charts and ways to dissect the data. And this is really nice, especially when you look at the top eight. I'll let Joey kind of drive a little bit because he's got the screen closer to him, but this lets you see what decks we're seeing in the top eight and what decks we're seeing as champions. And that's a lot of kind of as we've expected and what we've been seeing lately. And it's really stabilizing at this point.
When you're analyzing data, though, it's like we always talk about how a winner of the PQ spiked it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an anomaly deck that came out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like one of the most recent ones I saw was a Sabine Yellow actually took first place out of I think it was a 68 something.
Yeah, that was literally this is results just coming in.
Yeah,
Breaking
so that
news.
that was today. It was a tournament from today.
Yeah.
But the top eight of that tournament was two Talzins, two Quinlans, two Han, two
Two.
Blues, and a Palp Yellow, I believe was
Yeah.
the other one. So it's a little bit of an anomaly, but it's also what is the rest of the field that you're fighting against, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It got there, and I actually have been saying I think Sabine Yellow is really in a great position
Yeah.
with the current setup that things have to get there more efficiently. Especially with like was it
Oh,
BD1,
BD1. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
BD1 hitting the board kind
Yeah.
of thing for giving Sabine Saboteur plus an extra little damage kind of thing. I think
Mhm.
there's a lot of good tools that Sabine Yellow got. So it's good to see that she finally got there in a win. But the top eight that she had to get there through shows a better reflection of what the meta, so to speak, is. Even though she got there, she had to fight through the more consistently played decks at that point in time.
Yeah, the
Uh,
top
so
eight, both the top eight and the most played decks is also useful, obviously, because you're seeing what you're going to see a lot of.
right.
That's going to have a lot more outliers. The top eight's really going to tell you, all right, what are kind of showing up as the strongest decks
Well, what decks
consistently.
are consistently getting there
Yeah,
is
what
what it
decks are
is.
consistently strong enough to get there. And again, I mean, I've said this before, and I'm not going to keep reiterating, but I'm not loving this meta. I still think Force Throw is obviously warping this meta. Like this is a very it's a very dominant card that is it is still restricting the decks that can compete against it, because if you can't handle it, then you just aren't going to be able to play in this meta.
I don't think warping is the right word for that. Warping would be what Django did to the meta,
Mm,
because literally everybody had to either play as or play against a Django deck when that was there, because it was so predominant. There is a lot of variety in the decks that you're playing. Force throw is an element of those decks, but I don't think
sure.
if it was warping the meta, there would be a single force throw deck that is better than all the rest of them, and that is then that deck that you're playing.
See, I would disagree just in terminology. I would say Django broke the meta.
Okay.
That was not warping, that was just breaking it. This is warping it because it is forcing. You've got two, you've basically got three decks that are force throw heavy that are dominating a lot of the decks that we're seeing and a lot of the top eight. And that is really forcing, and it's causing. There's a lot of decks that don't have a way to really handle it, and that makes them virtually unplayable at this
So
point.
I don't know that I agree with that by this standpoint, because
Yeah,
villain blue deck, right?
yeah.
What's the number one card you're putting in a villain blue deck?
No, Power of the Dark Side.
Right.
Yeah,
So every villain blue deck runs Power of the Dark Side,
sure.
right? So does that warp that? Because all Force Throw is, it's a very powerful red card that if you are running Force units, you should be playing. And with the latest set that just came out, most red decks have Force involved in them. So you're almost doing yourself a disservice by not playing it. I don't think it's warping it in the regards of, oh my gosh, I have to build my deck around this card. It's, I have this package that I'm already playing. I might as well throw that in.
No, but it's not warping in. So you're going warping in. It's creating these decks. I'm saying it's warping in the aspect of it's making it so a lot of decks are not playable. If you cannot handle it, if you do not have a way to recover from two force throws, you've just lost the game. And it's overpowered for what it is. It's undercosted, and it's literally if you get those lucky draws and you can two or three force throw me in the first couple turns, well, shit, that's game. That's what I mean by warping the meta. It's causing an what I think is an unhealthy meta still.
I think that is indicative of several cards in the game, though. I think if you get back to back Power of the Dark Side, you've lost the game, basically. If you get back to back Overwhelming Barrage, you've lost the game, basically. I think that theory of getting like double whammied by something pertains to multiple cards, not just Force
I
Throw.
think the biggest difference between those is this is a one cost card
I don't
compared to
disagree with that.
this. You can do it twice in one turn or three times in one turn.
Sure.
That's where it's a problem.
And I don't disagree with
And
that
that's why
side
I
of it.
think and that's why I think it's messing up this meta, is because it's such a cheap throwaway card. You can't. The answer is always play around. There's ways to play around Power of the Dark Side. There's ways to play around Overwhelming Barrage. Force Throw, you just cannot play around sometimes. There is just not an option to play around it.
It's you play around Overwhelming Barrage the same way you play around Force Throw. If I don't have a Force unit on the board, Force Throw's efficiency goes down. Overwhelming Barrage, if I don't have a unit on the board, I can't play the card kind of thing, right? So you can play around Force Throw. To say that you can't is a
But
bad statement in
but
my
that
opinion.
used to be the way you could play around it. Now it's near impossible to keep a force unit off the board because they put so many cheap high health force units out. That was the problem. Force throw was fine when you didn't have a plethora of two drop force units that are incredible and near impossible to get off the board. Like, oh, a Gungi's on the board. What do I do about that? Nothing. It's a 2/5 on turn one.
You crushing blow it and
You
get rid of it.
crushing blow it. Yes.
So
Yes. Anyway,
point in
that's
is
good.
that yeah,
Yeah.
I think that you think it's warping the meta. I think it's just an established card that is going to be utilized because of the color combinations. I think we're going to agree to disagree at this point in time and then just move on.
Yeah, I think we move on. My argument is I think we would have a healthier meta if Fantasy Flight would just ban that card.
And I
Um,
don't wholly disagree with that.
yes,
I like I said, I think that it is definitely an undercosted card.
yeah,
I just don't think it's as egregious as. And I've been the victim of the triple in one turn.
yeah,
So it's yeah, it loses the game, but I think there's a lot of cards that can set that up in the same way. So
yeah.
back to
Anyway,
the Swoo
but back to the
base.
Swoo base. Yeah,
Swoo
yeah.
base has a really cool one that I like, which is this nice little. It kind of tells you the change in the decks that from week to week. It's just a fun little
And
graphic
their
to hover
performance.
over
Yeah, yeah, I
every
like
single
that.
time. It's just
Yeah,
nice and fun. This website has quite a few things for data. If you are a number cruncher, you're gonna love it.
yeah. Do
So,
recommend. Check it out. We'll come back and highlight things that we see that pop up on here sporadically as well. But yeah, do definitely get on this website.
but like anybody that does research, you don't want to use just one source of information, which is why I
It's true.
still like Swoo Competitive Hub
Yep.
because you can still get results and you can still get deck insights as far as how this is going to go as well. Like for instance, we saw that this one was reported, and it wasn't reported on the other website as of yet. So
Yeah.
you can definitely get multiple sources of information, and that's encouraged to do that so that you can get a better feel for what you are going for.
100%.
So that said, the other big thing that happened over the last couple weeks was they released the spotlight decks
Yeah.
for Secrets of Power, which gave us a nice big dump of cards to look at and review.
Yeah.
So we kind of just picked out our three favorites from what was shown so far. Things that we thought about, like, ooh, that could be this, that could be this. And we just wanted to go over what those were and give you a little taste of what maybe you didn't see, and then where you can go to actually look for the rest of it. So for starters, Secrets of Power here, Corey has his first pick.
Yeah, so I wanted to start off the first one for me. Looking at the list, I need to pull it up in front of me. There we go. Mina Boteri. I saw the Mina card, and she's a pretty decent card. First of all, I mean, a 2 cost, 2/4 with Restore One, not bad at all. Not the greatest, but still decent. She also has the new Disclose. I guess trait or
No,
disclose
discloses the mechanic.
mechanic.
It's the
That's the word
mechanic
I'm
for
looking for.
Secrets of Power.
Words. Things are hard sometimes. The new disclose mechanic, which for those that aren't aware, this allows you to, if you disclose X type of symbols from your hand, kind of like Childson is a good example.
Yes.
Just the same concept as Childson, then you get something special. This is a one defeated. That wasn't the biggest reason that this one spiked to me. The biggest reason that this really popped out to me was that separatist trait that she has. I hope this is a
Heroic.
sign that we're going to see a lot more separatists. Um, sorry. Uh, yeah, I thought that was interesting. What was that? Sorry, you distracted me when you said that. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, you distracted me for a second. My brain just like stopped thinking for a second. No, no, I thought that was a really interesting fact that we're seeing separatists in heroic.
We've already seen that.
Which, but hasn't it mostly been? It's mostly been all villainy and regular, and not as many heroic separatists.
Villainy and neutrals, but there has been a couple heroic separatists as well. I
Okay.
think there was about 3 or 4 of them because I was always trying to look at that one card that gives a separatist and a Republic +2/+2 and Saboteur for the
Yes.
turn.
Yeah, that one I was willing to
So
look
I
at. Sorry.
was always trying to figure out a deck that I could like try to maximize that with.
Yeah.
And so I was always looking at that. So it just there wasn't enough of them
Yeah.
to
This is
actually
good
make
with
the
that.
deck worthwhile or like a decent concept. This could actually, if we're going to see more separatists in this set, which probably,
Yeah, that was my
then
expectation, and
yeah,
that's what I think was most interesting is that we're seeing more separatists starting to pop up. I expect we're going to see a lot more. I think that could make some good synergies in the future. So I'm excited about seeing something like that. We're also, and she's also an official, which that's another big one. This set is loaded with officials
It's a big keyword.
and official keywords and official this gets something for officials, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be a big one this set. So anything that's an official is going to be something you're going to be looking for, is building at least for this set. But I think these adding the separatists as well, I think that's going to add some value to some older cards that haven't seen as much play.
I think older official leaders might be something to
That
look at
too.
as well because of the keyword synergies that are going to potentially pop up with, or sorry, trait synergies that are going to be popping up with that.
Yeah,
So
so this one for me was the card is interesting and decent, but I just wanted to utilize it to highlight a couple of traits that I was seeing that I think are going to be interesting going forward.
sure. So my first pick was also a two drop. The Naboo Squadron, the Bravo Squadron Fighter. It's
Bravo. Yes, but
Bravo. I got it
It's
right.
Bravo, yeah.
So this intrigued me, especially after you saw our match of my Chancellor versus his Poe. This slides right into that
Yep.
deck very, very easily, as it's a two-drop heroic unit that, oh, if you want to kill it, fine. If you don't, hey, Chewie, got a ship for you to pilot, and
Yeah.
now you're going to be a saboteur at the same time and really just punch face even better. This made me go, wow, that's such a great two drop to actually have. And it's a good counterbalance to the one that already came out, which was the two drop 3/2 with no keyword to it. So you lose a power, but you gain a keyword. So it's a good inverse in that regard. So I just
Yeah.
thought it was just a solid card, and it's just going to be a common for you. So
Yeah. I think that's an interesting one.
next up we have
Next house of retaliation. I think this is interesting. I think it's a decent but not overpowered removal card, which is what I like. The fact that it can defeat a leader unit, which is huge. That's a big piece for 5 costs. Being able to defeat a leader is great, but they have to swing at your base first. So you have to take a punch to the face before this is going to do anything. But it can take anything out for 5, which is pretty good. And I also think I think this is a trend we're going to see going forward in the next few sets. I do think Fantasy Flight knows that they probably went a little overboard on the amount of removal that Blue has right now and is starting to cut back and making these a little more situational. For example, this does require you to get punched to the face. Shatterpoint requires mostly for you to have the force. There's another one that requires you to disclose several things in this one. And it's very limited as well. So what we're seeing more and more is not as open of removal as we saw with Power of the Dark Side, Merciless Contest, Takedown, Rivals Fall. I don't think we're going to see a lot of those reprinted in the next rotation as we rotate out. And I think this is showing us that this is the way that Fantasy Flight is trying to go with removal, but with removal with a little more restrictions on it. Not quite as open as what we've seen in the past.
yeah. You said blue removal, and I went boo. You said leader removal, and I went double boo. And but I do think you're correct. I
Yeah,
think the fact that it does have a stipulation attached to it, I think is the way you do need to go with
yeah,
removal cards. And if this is indicative of what they are going to be doing going forward, okay, fine.
yeah.
I don't like all the removal. This is technically going to be more removal for like these Iden control decks to be able to pack into their deck at that point in time, which is going to make like the hard control even more. Oh god, there's more to this I have to deal with now.
Mhm.
It's gonna make a gross Intel cycle. So yes, I get that they're prepping for a cycle to come forward and everything else like that. And as long as a lot of these removal cards do have stipulations, okay, fine.
Yeah, I've been saying for a while, I think it's very possible we see maybe one of the older ones get reprinted. Probably Takedown would be the one I would not be surprised to see, or maybe Fell the Dragon.
But that both of those
Um,
still have
but they have
stipulations. So
stipulations, and that's the one. But I don't think, again, as I said, I don't think we're going to see Power of the Dark Side come back anytime soon. I don't think Merciless Combat's going to come back.
I
I'm also iffy on Rivals Fall coming back. I think a lot of those are not going to be back for a while.
this removes a leader. You need a leader
Yes,
removal
you need something
card.
that removes a leader, and you
Right.
just
I,
got
I
that
don't
here.
disagree that you need a removal card for a leader. I didn't like Rivals Fall because it was just a blanketed hi,
Yeah.
everything dies. This at least has that stipulation, so I'm fine with that kind of thing.
Yep.
I think you're wrong that we are gonna get an edict removal card.
Do you think we will get an
I
edict?
it's a political thing.
That's
It's
true.
about choices. It's
That
about
is
what
true.
you're gonna do. If we don't get an edict removal card, I will be happy, but I don't think it's gonna happen because based off of what the set is, and the history of what they've made, I would be shocked if we don't get an edict removal card. An edict just means
Yeah,
it's a choice,
yeah,
and it's
you
usually
can
your
choose to
opponent makes
destroy
a choice
something.
of some kind of thing. So
And yeah, maybe we do. Maybe if we're lucky, it's something that's a little more restrictive than power and merciless combat
honestly, I was fine with Merciless Contest,
or
except for the
contest.
fact that it's you do what you can on the
Yeah,
card. If that rule wasn't there and you literally had to sacrifice a unit so that I had to sacrifice a unit,
yeah,
there's balance in that removal card. I have no problem with that if that's what it was. It's the
yep,
fact that you can forego your sacrifice and I still lose mine that makes that card absolute BS,
yeah.
in my opinion.
I get the argument, and yeah, I definitely don't think we'll be seeing power and merciless in the future.
I'm happy with that.
I think those will be out for a while.
So, all right. So my next
Yep.
choice was the Naboo Royal Starship. This card is absolute crack for any kind of like aggro heroic deck. I mean, Sabine flips over. You put that out there, and now you got a raid 2, so you're doing 5 damage with an overwhelm factor, and you
Yeah.
develop the board with another ship at the same time, and you're on your game plan of, oh, I did the one action, and I basically is able to get double things out of it and pass. Now I can just keep that initiative and keep grinding that thing forward. Your Kaz Data Vault deck. Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's like you
Oh
have a
yeah.
Millennium Falcon in play. You flip Kaz onto the Falcon. Oh, by the way, here's a Naboo ship to pump me up even more. Gross.
Hmm.
It's this card is definitely going to see play. A lot of people are running the Delphi Patrol Fighter
Yep.
in like green as well, kind of thing for like getting that initiative and swinging.
This is better. Yeah.
Well, this is a 4 drop.
Yeah.
That rolls into a 5 drop. I mean, you can just get a space curve to go out after that. On top of that, this card is going to see play,
Hmm.
100%.
Very much so. Yeah, I think that's a very good one. And then the next one, speaking of ships,
Yep.
I wanted to highlight the other big ship, and I mean everybody's already kind of talked about this. This is a good ship. This Cantwell Arrestor cruiser. I don't even remember what this is from. I cannot keep
I think
track
this
of
is
everything.
Andor.
Is this from Andor?
You see the
Yeah, you're right.
see the
It was one of the. It was the ship they had to break Bill Burr out of, wasn't it?
uh
Eventually.
it was either that or is this the one that was trying to capture Luthien's ship that he does the really cool thing and shoots the railgun at and then destroys
Yeah,
the dishes on the front of it.
I cannot remember. Now I'm curious. But anyway,
By the way, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Endor.
yeah. But anyway, I mean, this is a good ship. I mean, it's a 6/7 ship for 7 is decently statted in the first place.
Mhm.
That's pretty good stat line for a spaceship, but that when played is very powerful. So those that are reading, when you played, you may disclose blue, blue, black. So you need to show probably 2 cards from your hand to cover that. And if you reveal those cards, you get to exhaust an enemy unit, and it can't be readied again as long as that unit's in play. That's
Yep.
huge. And that is just an enemy unit that can be a leader, that can be anything, and it just takes them off the board until this is cleared off. And it's not always the easiest to clear a 6/7 ship off the board.
No.
So yeah, this was definitely one that popped out immediately on, oh, that's really good. Oh yeah, those blue back villainy decks are gonna like this one, aren't they?
Yeah,
Uh,
the green blue villainy especially
yeah,
because if you can ramp into
green
it.
blue villainy ramping into this. It's a capital ship, so this makes Piet Blue.
Oh,
This helps Piet Blue a lot, I
there
think,
you
because
go.
he's going
Yeah.
to be playing that at 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of value in this ship. This is good, definitely going to be seen, and it's just an uncommon. So also for your drafts,
Yeah.
this is a very good sealed or draft card.
Yeah, it's a good bomb.
Yeah, like this is a bomb that will cause problems for your opponent. So was happy to see this. I think this has been the most exciting card I've seen in the set so far. I think this one is pretty hype. As a blue green villainy player, I'm pretty excited about it. So yeah, this one was the one that really stood out for me in what we saw.
Yeah. So the it's basically what is it? The yellow card that exhausts for 2 turns.
No good to be dead.
No gonna be dead. It's no gonna be dead on crack is basically what it is. Because you get to permanently exhaust the unit at that point in time.
Yeah.
The fact that it hits leaders is gross.
Yeah.
But it is a 7 drop. So that is you have to figure out the best way to get there. I will say this, of the disclose mechanic, that is the best payoff card I have seen
so far.
Most well,
Yep.
yeah, but
Yep.
most of the disclosed stuff I've seen, I've been very feeling lackluster on.
Yeah.
So it's like for me to give you information about what's in my hand, I need a good return on investment at that point in time.
Yep.
And like Chilton was a great return on investment because you're getting four experience out of it if you can reveal four cards, kind of thing,
Yep.
right? So most of their stuff is temporary outcomes when you disclose that information, and that just never feels good. So
Yeah. Like I mean, a good example going back to Mina. Mina's is a green, green, white disclose. You're gonna have to show two cards to your hand. You get to draw a card.
yeah. So, yeah,
Maybe
yeah, it's card draw,
I mean,
but
maybe you have things that it's obvious to your opponent you have. Like
sure.
it's like, oh yeah, I'm playing a yellow deck. I have a surprise strike in my hand. Yep,
But
something like that. But it's like, if it's something that's going to be obvious that you're sitting on and they know, fine. If they've looked at your hand before, fine. But yeah, the flip side is, do I want to give you that information just to draw a single card?
so that said, is the cost of disclose feels pretty finite
Yes.
so far.
Yep.
Like, oh, the most I'm gonna have to show you is 1 to 3 cards out of my hand to get X ability.
Yeah.
The what that ability is feels drastically different as far as its payout for the cost basically being the same all the way through.
Yeah.
So that's where really where I think we're going to get a disparity on the disclose
hmm
is how do they like come up with the metrics to determine what you have to do to what you're getting out of it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Eh,
Again, super early, only the spotlight decks. We got a whole set of cards to see, which I believe start on Monday.
Yeah. And you got your last
Oh
card,
yeah,
right?
I got a
You
couple
got
of them
one more
still.
card.
I got a
Or
couple
you
still
got a
to come
couple more cards actually.
because I have a couple honorable mentions. So,
Yes.
but my other favorite card right now is I am the Senate. I have widely said that I want more options for a wide board. This is a great one, and it actually fits right into a deck I've been kind of brewing on the side. I wanted to have that deck today to play against Corey, but I don't have it quite brewed yet.
Yep.
So we're going to save that for a different day. I brought a different deck to play against Corey after we're done with the Sunday summary.
hmm
But this card allows that go wide, and it's a card that's going to get me multiple units on the board efficiently. We haven't had too many of these cards. Most
Yeah.
of them are usually like the Vader, the Keller and Beck, or a U-wing reinforcement, which you're getting like two, maybe three.
Yeah.
This is hitting that six thing, and or is it five, six,
Five.
five?
Five.
So, but it's two more than what you're used to. Are the units fantastic? No. It's what are you gonna do with them that you really got to look at.
Yeah.
The six cost is hefty, but you can also manipulate that because again, it's green villain. There's ramp. There is so many different ways to do it. But it's definitely a step in the right direction of a go wide. Something that I really wanted to see back when we had the droids and the clones coming into play,
Yeah.
and we never really got that because the ones that did that go wide mechanic didn't do it efficiently to where like you felt like you got the value out of it, kind of thing. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, go wide is something that keep wanting to make it work and it just doesn't quite work. Vader, I think, is the one that's done it best so far, and he's still not at that go wide of go wide. But he's kind of the closest we've seen. But
With him and you winger together.
yeah, in Ewing, it. Well, I mean, just Vader leader
Oh,
decks. Like,
Vader leader. I thought you
yeah,
were talking about
Vader.
the unit, the
No,
seven
no,
cost unit. You're
Vader
talking about
leader decks.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, with
like
the making all
those
the
are
TIE fighters. Yes,
the
yes,
ones
yes,
that
yes.
have come closest to being able to go wide, and even that still isn't quite the what you've seen in historical Magic, Elf decks, things like that, where
Sure.
it's go wide, wide. So I mean, I think it's something that Fantasy Flight's going to keep trying to get it to work. It's just, I mean, obviously, it's a very hard thing to balance well.
Right.
The last thing you need is to let it get too over out of control and just let people just really steamroll you.
Well, but I think that that's
But we'll
why.
see.
But
Yeah,
I think that's why, like units like this, and even units like the Tie Fighters, are the
yeah,
ways that they can make the go wide happen. Because I understand you can't have good units be the ones that are plentifully going wide
yeah,
because then it becomes like too overpowering as far as the meta goes.
yep,
But in the environment where it's I take an action, you take an action, I take an action, you take an action, the only way to counter control decks like that is to really go wide.
yeah,
If I don't have the tools to efficiently go wide, even if it is just making a bunch of spies or a bunch of droids or a bunch of TIE fighters, that's still at least a bunch of units on the board
hmm
that I can either soak up your removal cards with or girdle myself into where you're not going to have your removals efficiently for when I do drop my key units, kind of thing.
yeah,
It's just tools that you need to have. and we haven't had enough of them to really make it viable.
Yep.
So I really want to see stuff going in this direction, which is why it's my one of my cards that I'm really looking to see what you can do with it.
Yeah, genuinely curious to see if this will be an opportunity for it to do that. And yeah, maybe spy tokens too. Like there is a lot of stuff creating spy tokens.
Marchand Road
Yeah,
doubles the rate on
yep,
all of them.
yep. Like there can be some good stuff out of that. I'm very curious about them as a 0/2 makes it a very interesting card.
Hmm.
But with the rate too. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe this will be the set. I'm not certain. I think it's still maybe a few sets away. They still aren't quite there, but we'll see.
It might be Lawless Times because then Snoke cycles away. And Snoke is the biggest
That's
token
very
killer
true.
that
Yeah.
exists right now.
Yep.
So, but this will at least be a step in the right direction to, add into the toolkit for when Lawless Time comes out
Yep.
and Snoke cycles away, unless they replace Snoke with another like major token killer or something,
Yeah.
we might actually be able to see something happen.
Yep.
So,
Very possible.
so my last one would be an honorable mention of moral authority, and the reason why I wanted to make this an honorable mention was this is like legal authority, but with a twist. You're looking at hit points instead of power, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is because it's the type of card that makes me go back and relook at previous leaders and what I can do with them. And this leads into the deck that I'm running today against Corey,
Yeah.
which is Churret. Because now, whereas widely people said Churret's ability there, that temporary 2 hit points, was like, oh, this is such a worthless ability. The most I'm doing with it is I'm passing with a soft pass. I'm not doing anything with it, and
Yeah.
it's like your turn kind of thing, right? Now, I can give a unit 2 temporary hit points to moral authority and capture them.
Hmm.
Those 2 temporary hit points don't have to stick around. They can go away as soon as I get the capture. It doesn't matter. I just use them to get me that edge to get over what I needed to actually capture you.
Yep.
So you can go back and look at previous stuff. So I love cards that allow me and force me to go back and relook at things and reassess what could be good at that point in time.
I mean, I'm looking forward to a future Cheer It Yellow Force deck.
Yeah.
I do think, and I'm looking forward to playing this, which we will in a bit, which we will be showing you later. Will be a future video, but I think Chirrut is one of those leaders that has gotten better with his latest set and has just not gotten seen as much play yet. But I do think he is a pretty strong one, and yeah, the new Force stuff has definitely helped him a lot.
Yeah. So the last card to show you would be something that they have already said is kind of like a block or a set of cards that they're doing, which is this double disclose 4X effect.
Yeah.
There's going to be a red, there's going to be a blue, there's going to be yellow, and this is the green one. They've also said there's another block of cards that is, oh, I play a card that does a thing, I disclose to double that thing at that point in time. So definitely something to keep your eye out. This one here I wanted to bring up because it is a universal capture. It's literally I play it, I show you 2 cards, I get to capture any unit that I want, save a leader, of course. But that's huge for a 3 cost. That's like,
Hmm.
oh look, your Devastator captured.
Yeah.
Which most of the time you're not capturing a Devastator because you just don't have the ability to do it. There's few cards that can actually do it, kind of thing.
Yep.
So I don't know, just something to consider going forward.
Yeah. Interested to see. I think of the two mechanics this set, I think the disclose is definitely the more interesting of the two, the one that they can do more with. Plot just I don't hate plot, and I'm hopeful to see that they do some exciting things with plot, but plot just feels to me like a poor man's version of smuggle. It's smuggle, but not as good.
It's
It's
limited smuggle because it
yeah,
is only contingent on your leader. I look at them as 2 different things, right? Plot is your surprise,
yeah,
disclose is your through mechanic
yeah,
because disclose can come in and play at any point in time in the game and have an effect. Plot is a one time, this is what's going to happen,
yep,
right? And then it's going to go away. I don't mind there being that variance. I kind of like that because you can kind of lean into one or the other. The biggest thing that I think plot does is it gives a lot of the weaker leaders an ability to survive. Like for instance, Third Sister,
yeah,
I'm loving looking at plot because now I can put an upgrade immediately on her that takes her out of that open fire range,
yeah,
out of that takedown range kind of thing. Because, oh, look, now my weakness of my character was that 4 health. I circumvent my weakness now.
yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to what plot cards come out that you can do with that. But I think Disclose will have the more long term effect in a game to determine if somebody's going to win or not.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm curious to see. I think again, I'm not writing it off just yet. There's definitely opportunity for some cool things to happen. But yeah, I was not as excited about plot when I first saw it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah,
I don't know. I think I'm more excited about plot than disclose
yeah.
personally. So,
All right,
but again, that comes from I'm more of an aggro player.
that's
You're
true.
more of a control player. So
Yeah,
you want the long term stuff. I want that punch in the face and go kind of thing.
yep, yep,
So that shows the difference in
yeah,
player style and what they're looking for kind of thing. So
yeah. But yeah, exciting. Looking forward to it. Does preview start this week, right?
as far as I
I
know,
believe
yes,
so.
from what I saw from
So
the videos and everything else like that, previews will start on Monday.
uh,
So the whole leaders and everything else like that, which we'll probably get leaders right away on Mondays. I
yeah,
believe is what they do. So
we should get leaders on Monday, so we'll definitely make sure that'll be part of our weekly highlight in the coming weeks is talking about the cards that really pop to us. We're not going to go through all of them, obviously, but anything that pops out to us, we'll definitely bring up along with tournament reports for you and whatever else we feel like talking about.
so that's our Sunday summary for Holotable Games Network. Thanks for tuning in, and if you want, stick around because we're gonna have a playthrough video where I will be playing a Churret green deck against.
My Kazuda Data Vault.
So stick around if you like that. Other than that, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
But that's all, folks.